everyone, I'm Hallie, and welcome to this video about my custom modified Lego U-Wing. So this ship originally started as Lego's U-Wing set number 75155, I believe. But then it definitely turned into something of my own creation. As you can see, it's very different from the original in a lot of ways. A lot of major ways. The first, probably most noticeable difference is in the S-foils right here. As you can see with the S-foils, they're significantly longer and also a little bit wider than the original set. This brings the proportions in general to a just much better place than the original Lego set had. It's much more accurate, much sleeker, and it looks like the U-Wing should look in the first place, which I really love because I'm a big sucker for accuracy and detail. And I just want my Lego build to look like the real Star Wars thing, especially the U-Wing, which is my favorite Star Wars ship in general, so I really feel like I have to honor it in Lego form. And I'm a big Lego nerd, and details, I love details, and accuracy, so I just want it, gotta have it perfect. So what I've changed in the wings is I just used a bunch of plates, swapped out plates, and then added some length. And then I completely stripped down the wings and started using mostly tiles. The original playset from Lego used a lot of these size tiles without sticker down the whole wing, but I swapped it out to primarily smaller, just completely smooth tiles, and added in all sorts of wear and tear that you would expect a Rebel ship to have, because the Rebels didn't have the most money. They didn't need to make their ships look perfect. They just wanted them to run and work. So that's why there's all these wear and tears from battle and lack of maintenance and all those sorts of things. But I like the sleeker look of the tiles, the completely smooth tiles through here. Or not completely smooth, I do have a few studs still there, but I do like the tile dipper look. So that's what we have going on there. Same with the other side. I made sure to keep some of the details in the right places, like there's a large gray patch here on this side on the right S-foil, as well as this little bit of yellow, which I changed up a little bit from the original set. I also moved these pieces forward with the stickers, just because I thought it was a better placement for them. I don't know. But yeah. One of the second more noticeable changes, I would say, is the whole front of the nose. The original set it was more flatter and rounder, I would say, if that makes sense. You can look up images of the original set online, and I'll include one here, probably. Basically, I made it flatter with just a more linear slope, much less up and down, kind of just gradual. And another big thing I did was add this grill kind of grating in there. If you look really closely, you can see that grating in there, like the real U-Wing has, the real thing in the universe from Star Wars, of course, that's what I mean. But, and also these two angled bits, these two angled panels here, which I used some wedge plates and some tiles and modified tile pieces to get that shape. And I think that shape really brings together the whole front of the nose, because originally it just had a really flat, boxy shape, and I think this brings in a lot of that sleekness that the U-Wing should have. So I'm super happy with the front. And another thing going on with the front, of course, is the laser cannons. The U-Wing, the in-universe U-Wing, has two front laser cannons just like this. I believe they are Tame and Bach KX7 heavy laser cannons. very powerful laser cannons on the actual U-Wing. They can pierce the hull of an Arquitens class cruiser, Imperial cruiser, which is very impressive. So it's a bigger ship than the X-Wing or something, so more powerful guns that it can carry. And I just added more detail to those, made them a little better looking in my opinion, more accurate. Always love more detail, gotta have it, gotta have it. The joy is in the details, as they say, with everything in life, I feel like. So another big mod that I'm surprised I left till this late is Troop Bay. The original Troop Bay was really bulky and went too far down, and just I didn't like the look of it. So I essentially shortened the whole Troop Bay a little bit, brought it up. It still has enough headroom for minifigures to be seated in there, but it makes the ship look so much sleeker and better, just like it should in the movies and everywhere we see it. And I'm really happy with that change. I think it icing on the cake for the U-Wing. Like, you need that. It just is so much more proportionally right. Something I don't think the original Lego set captured very well. It might sound like I'm hating on the original Lego set, but I think it's a great set, and Lego has to design to different standards that are more focused on play and strength, whereas my U-Wing is much more fragile than Lego's U-Wing. It doesn't fall apart by any means, but it's not as strong. And it also has more detail and more pieces, whereas Lego's keeps the price down, has more play features, is stronger. So they're kind of both for different things. But I catered mine to how I want to have it, and Lego's is more focused for the general toy market. But of course, the doors do open, unfortunately, because of another mod I did with the landing gear that I added. I do have to fold the landing gear strut that's back here out of the way before I open the door. But as you can see in there, there is room for you can fairly easily fit 4 minifigures down there. And if maybe you could squeeze more in. I haven't really tried, but I bet you could if you really wanted to. But I got both doors open with our rebels down in there. And of course, in regards to the doors, there are gun ports in which you can mount some cannons, just like we see in Rogue One. So I have right here one type of cannon, which just clips onto this little bar piece that you can see right there. So I just take it and it fits on just like so. It can swivel side to side. Of course, all sorts of angles. And here is the actual build for that up close. It's a complete custom build. I'm very pleased with it. I think it looks really nice, and it's not too oversized by any means, but it looks like a really cool and believable cannon. As we see in Rogue One, they use that ion cannon. I want to say it's a Roba M45 heavy. It's like a repeating ion blaster of some kind. Just kind of what this is based on. I'm gonna pop that back on there. And if we get to the other side, I do have another cannon, which is a different design. I'll go ahead and show you that here. It's a double barrel. This one is a little more oversized, but I don't think it looks too crazy, but probably is a little bit too big. It's got some binoculars there as a kind of sight. And generally, I am happy with the build of this one. I like the way it looks. And it just clips on in the same way to that bar piece again. And once again, it can angle all around, and it can go up and down as well with the barrels. And that's something that I'm very pleased with. I think they look really nice, and that's a big thing that we see in Rogue One. These door cannons are very powerful. You see them take down, not an AT-AT, I'm blanking on the name of the type of AT walker that they took down. It's the one that's not an AT-AT. So moving on, I went ahead and took off the door guns because they're a little bit easy to knock off when carrying the model around like this and handling it a lot. I figured you guys are probably getting impatient for this feature, which is the opening of the S-foils. The mechanism itself has not changed at all, but I just wanted to show what the U-wing looks like with the S-foils open. In Universe, it does that so that it can better manage heat when firing the laser cannons in battle, as well from the engines. And it also helps to give a wider area that the deflector shield covers. But here it is, and it looks pretty glorious, I think. Just absolutely beautiful. Like I said, this is my favorite Star Wars ship of all time. I'm just in love with it. Seeing this Lego build of it just like brings me a little bit of joy every day. I just love the ship so much. But I think it looks really awesome. I'm trying to show you it from all sorts of different angles. But there we go. Of course, the underside does not look too pretty. I never like the underside of Lego plates. I just think they have a kind of unfinished look. However, there's really no way to easily mod this without making the wings significantly thicker or completely changing the build style of them, which I just didn't really want to do. So, moving on to some of the other modifications that I did, we have the engines. So the first thing I changed on the engines was I added this rim piece, but I just did that to basically extend the engines and to better match the portions of the in-universe U-wing, because of the fact that I lengthened the S-foils and made this bit just larger. So the engines need to be longer to match that, which is accurate to the real U-wing. Not only that, but I also changed the kind of thruster area. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, the tip of them. As you can see, I used an interesting, at least I think it's interesting, build design, where it's built around one of those four-sided bricks with studs on each side, the 1x1 bricks, as you can see, and it's just built around with these pieces that have the rail on it, the 1x2s with the rail, and then I put 1x2 tiles. I used dark tan because I just think it's a kind of cool color. I had these pieces in that color already, and I think it looks nice for engine detailing like that, where you can imagine there's a lot of scorching and stuff. And of course there's the exhaust, the kind of blue glow that comes from the U-wing's engines. And then this one I did add a little bit of dark gray, some dark gray modified tile pieces just to add a bit of wear, and maybe where the Rebel Alliance had to patch it up, because of course they do have some beater ships in their fleet for sure. They don't have the most money, like I stated earlier, so they gotta patch things up, you know. So that is the engines, and moving on to what powers the engines. This is the reactor, I believe, that powers the U-wing right in here. I didn't really change that bit, but I did change all of this and all of this. I smoothed it out, completely changed the building technique. I used some hinge pieces to kind of just get that subtle angle here. And originally just used some slope pieces, which I didn't think looked too nice. And this adds in a lot more detail, and it's a lot smoother. What you're looking at right now, and what you've already been seeing, are the reactor fins, which help to radiate heat from the reactor, I believe. I changed them to some plates, which are built studs on like the side going this way, which I think looks really cool. It gives like a lot of depth and realism, just like the Universe U-wing would of course have. And then it continues down here, which is just some of those 1x2 modified tile pieces, the grills. But I really like the modification I did in that area, right up here. Looks cool from the underside as well, I believe. And that's something I'm really happy with. One thing I want to point out is I really like this piece. I think it's like a Wolverine claw that they used for the top little detail of the reactor core. I just think it looks super cool, and it was like the perfect piece to use there. And just big ups to LEGO for doing that. I didn't even change anything around here because I thought that piece was so perfect already. And yeah, moving on to the cockpit. So I actually changed how the cockpit closed. I made it so it just doesn't close quite as deeply, which just helps make it more smooth here, not have the cockpit sit so deeply, so it lines up better with this front panel. And because of a recent mod I did right around here, which kind of extends the end of the canopy closer towards the cockpit area itself, because of that mod, the cockpit can't actually fold open, which is kind of unfortunate. So you just have to pop off that tile and pop off the windshield itself to get inside. Inside it fits one pilot, unfortunately not two like the actual U-wing, but it does have a lot of detail. I'll take the pilot out so you can see a little bit better. It has a nicely detailed seat, some added control consoles and levers on either side, some printed consoles there. And then it has something that I really like, which is this kind of control yoke. It's built with a bucket handle and just a couple of other pieces which clip into this 1x2 plate with the bar on it. And it works great, I think, to act as a control yoke for flying the U-wing. It looks a lot like the control sticks that they use in Rogue One. So I'm really pleased with that. And up here I just added a little bit of the trans red 1x1s. This 1x2 slope piece was already there in the set. I think it looks great. It's a really nice printed piece. There's your nice look at the cockpit. It's detailed. I do wish that the windscreen could close without having to actually pull it on and off, but such is life. And pretty much the last thing that I haven't shown you is the landing gear. So I wanted to add some landing gear just to have, and I added it to front gear right here on the side of kind of the bottom part of the cockpit there. And it really blends in well, and I think it actually adds some kind of extra greebling detail. So that can just fold out like so from either side. that. And in the rear, I used some Technic pins to attach them to these Technic pieces, which hold on the engines, as you can see. And they fold out really smoothly and allow you to land your U-wing with the landing gear, which I think allows it to rest off the ground, just the perfect height. The doors can open and close with the landing gear down, and it looks really awesome. It looks like it should be on the Rebel base at Yavin 4, just like in Rogue One, my favorite Star Wars movie, in case you can tell by now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my U-wing. Like I said, I'm super happy. It's taken a lot of time and work to do all these changes, even though they might not look like a lot. But it's been a whole lot of fun doing this, and it's been a lot of fun showing and sharing it with you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're interested in more. I will be doing a lot more LEGO videos in the future, a lot more of my mocks. This is a kind of more just a mod, not a full-on mock. So I'll be showing off some mocks. The U-wing is my favorite ship, so I really wanted to share my custom design with you all. Once again, I'm Hallie. Thank you so much for watching. If you have waited through to the end of this video, be sure to tune back in next time where I show off some of my mocks. Have a great and awesome day. Bye.